of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. Hey yo, heart of a villain beats hard in the centrifuge. Bearded BP, 100 interviews. All it takes is 2 mics and 1 line. This is Bearded Villains podcast worldwide. Driving cross countries, getting ball tires. Fam across ponds, always inspired. Chapters connect, and then it's on fire. Check your phone, cause BV is like a live wire. They said that we couldn't do it. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain. It's the heart.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another. Hey! Welcome to another Thursday night edition of the Heart of a Villain, the podcast and live stream devoted to the Bearded Villains Worldwide Brotherhood. Guys, hey, we are here for episode 216, and it is May 30th, 2024. It is the last show of May, and then June comes in. And guys, before we know it, we're halfway through the year. Where did this year go? I mean, wow. It seems, at times it seems like things are dragging a little bit, but you look at the calendar, I don't know where these last several weeks have gone. Every year, though, I say that. Every year of this time of year, the first part of spring going into the summer time, when you have so much going on in your life, you have work stuff, you have stuff that all of a sudden everything wakes up outside. So you've got weeding, you've got landscaping, you've got all sorts of stuff, all these projects that you didn't quite get done in the first part of, or at the end of last year before the snow came, if you're in the Midwest. All the projects you didn't get done at the end of last year, suddenly they become very important to try and get them done now, and before you know it, the time is just floating right by, and we're going to be in the middle of summer, and I'm still going to be trying to catch up on projects around the house that I was hoping to get done early spring. If you're like me, I don't know about you all, but I don't know. Hopefully not too many of you are like me and getting that far behind on things, but it's to the point where I'm going to have to hire some things out. I'm going to have to hire some things out because I don't have the time. I don't have the time. It's going to take me till September to get things done. And I want to be able to enjoy the outside. I want to be able to enjoy the yard. And with Villain Weekends coming up that I'm going to be going to, 2 out of the next 4 weeks, I'll be at events. And then, we got the month of July mostly off, but I've got chapter stuff going on, and it's just this time of year, man. And so, yeah, I'm going to have to hire some stuff out and just to get some things done around the house, outside the house, which feels really strange because it's like you're capable of doing it. I know I'm capable of doing it. Days like today when it was beautiful outside and I'm stuck in here in the home office doing stuff, it's like, and you don't have all the time you need to just take a few days off work. Yeah. I know I'm preaching to the choir. I know there's many of you out there that are have bigger problems than these things I'm talking about. But yeah, it's oh Rob, he says, how's my decking and hot tub looking? Yeah, those are a couple of the things I'm talking about, right? The guys in my chapter know that we had a handful of guys came over last year to help me out in the teardown process of the deck, and it didn't quite make it to the full teardown. So I got a few more of the things torn down after most of the guys left, and Ed came back over, a co-cap, and his lovely lady, I don't know, just his better half, Paula, came over, and she was like pulling screws out of the deck, and she was doing all sorts of stuff. And but yeah. And it's still not a whole lot further along than when they last saw it. So I've just got to take a Sawzall to most of it, chop it down, get some new boards put on there, and get the hot tub all cleaned up. I think I have some parts that have to be fixed on that or repaired on that. So, yeah. Plus a whole bunch of other landscaping things. So Oh, and by the way, a huge fence to stain. That's one of those things that I'm going to have to outsource because the time it's going to take to do it, I just don't have the time. In addition to everything else I want to try and do. So, yeah. Anyway, hey, but you don't need to hear about my problems, right? Hey, I want to say thanks. I want to say hello and give a shout out to everybody that is here hanging out with us tonight. We got a handful of people on a Thursday night who didn't have anything better to do, which I really appreciate. Ed Deering, how you doing? Good to see. We got to hang out last weekend. We had our chapter summer barbecue, beginning of summer barbecue, and a bunch of the guys from the BVC from Bearded Village, Chicago came on down. Mr. Clancy from up north came on down with his fine bride, and yeah, good times. But finally got to see Mr. Ed Deering again in person, in the live. Yeah. Rob with his typical greeting, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, sir. And good morning to you at 1 o'clock in the morning over there. For sure. Lurch is hanging out with us. Lurch says, the evening all had a brain fart. I arrived at 7 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, he sent me a message. Hey, no show tonight? And I know sometimes I'm very late on the uptick to be able to tell everybody, oh, no show tonight. But this was actually one of these times where he reached out to me and I said, yeah, there is a show. Actually, you're about 30 minutes too early. So, which feels good, which is good when people reach out to me before the show's supposed to start and they're like, oh, are we going to have it or not? Mr. Compton. Hey, Jason, how you doing? Hey, Jason is the subject of our interview tonight. We'll be talking about Knoxvillains upcoming. So, yeah, he says, can't wait to see some of you all next weekend. That's right. He promises that this is going to be a good time. Good time. My co-cap. What's up, Ed? And board member. I always have to say board member. I think it's in a contract somewhere. It says, can't wait to get back to Knoxvillains. Yeah. For sure. Anybody else I'm missing so far in the comments section? Well, look, we got Buddy in here. How you doing, Buddy? Maybe I hopefully get to see Buddy next weekend. I don't know. Jason, it's me, Kim, my weird lurk. Okay. Hey, I'm not going to get between people here. Mr. Elevated Gray is hanging out with us as well. How we doing? Good to see you here tonight. Lots of people didn't have much else going on tonight, so we love it. Love hanging out with you all tonight. Lily, I get you. And you got to show the love for Jason, right? You got to show the love. Mr. Buff Cat, staying the fence. Yeah, that is some Karate Kid work, right? Yeah, I'm not going to be doing brush strokes up and down and all that stuff. That's for somebody else, right? I just don't have the time. It's a huge fence. I don't have the time. Mike, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you hanging out with us as well. All right, so we've got a bunch of people hanging out with us tonight. Love to see it. So let's do a quick rundown. A couple of things. I finally got to a breaking point today, actually, where I struggle every week we do the show here with try to do my best because I don't want to exclude anything and I want to be able to share the good stuff, the cool stuff, the merch stuff that different chapters have going on. But I will say I beg, borrow, and plead for all of y'all to share information with me and so I can get the word out on stuff, be it events that you did, events you have coming up, be it merch that you've got, all sorts of stuff. And I just want to say, I'm not going to call any specific chapters out, but I will say this. I'm kind of at the point where I'm not going to feel upset or I'm not going to feel sad or I'm not going to feel like I'm shorting any chapters or any brothers if I don't include you in the show, be it merch or events or giving shout outs. If you yourself or your chapter is not doing its part, in my opinion, of sharing stuff, okay? I've seen some things over the last few weeks, and I know it's been 2 weeks since I've been on here with the show, but I've seen some things that have come across, and I look back and I try to go back and I try to find some information out about maybe a merch item or maybe about a post because I saw an individual post something about maybe something that a chapter did. But then I go back and I look and the chapter itself hasn't even posted about it. It just happened to be that there was a brother that may have attended something that a chapter did, or it could have been a charity event, or it could have been like a homeless outreach. It could have been a cleanup event. I'm not gonna specify which chapters that I'm talking about, but I found some events that people have attended on behalf of chapters or as a chapter, and individuals have posted some things about it, but the chapter itself didn't make a post. I've seen that with some merch items too. And so I'm like, what you're shooting yourself in the foot. And I'm not saying that so that I can publicize it, but you're not even trying to get the word out yourself as a chapter that you have stuff. So do yourself a favor. Help a guy out, help yourself out, help your chapter out, and make sure that you are promoting the things that you are doing, at least on your chapter IG page. I mean, otherwise, what are we doing with those? But if you've got something going on, that's where I'm going to look. I shouldn't have to hunt it down. And other people, if they're interested in what your chapter's doing, they shouldn't have to hunt down individuals. They should feel like they can just go to the chapter page to learn about the things that have been going on in the chapter. And if they hear a rumor that there might be a merch item that might be pretty cool that they want to go check out, they should be able to just go to the chapter merch page or the chapter IG page, which might lead them to a merch page or something like that. So I'm not gonna, we're 216 episodes. We're 4 years, almost 5. We're 4.5, almost 5. No, it's more than 4.5. We're darn near 5 years into this here show. And for all that time, I've tried to hunt down all this information so I can share it with everybody. But I'm to the point where I'm just like, hey, if you're not going to do your part and share the information yourself as a chapter, I'm not so sure I need to be bending over backwards to try and do the same. So do yourself a favor and at least share what you've got going on, charity-wise or merch-wise, on your chapter's pages, please. Please, please, please. Because you can't wonder why there's nothing going on with that stuff if you don't share it. The more you know, right? All right. So with that said, I do have a couple of things that I want to get merch-wise out and mention. And I don't have any specific thing that I need to celebrate for Villains of the Month right now, or being villains around the world right now. So we'll be able to just slide right out of the merch, right into our interview, who, if you paid attention to the listings or any of the postings about tonight's show, you'll know that I'm talking about my interview with Jason, Captain from Smoky Mountain Villains. And we had a great discussion about the upcoming event we all know and love called Knoxvillains. So, very, very fun event in the years past. And what's cool is, and we talk about this in the interview, so I won't spoil it too much, but I love the fact that they're kind of reinventing it a little bit. Same old, but yet in a new way, new location, and I think sometimes you have to add to or reinvent and different things. So I'm excited to see how Knoxvillains is going to run this year, and excited with everything that he told me in the interview. And so hey, we'll look forward to that. But yeah. All right. Well, hey, let's do a little bit of merch real quick. Get that out of the way. So if anybody's interested in getting some of the stuff, right? We'll get into that. All right. So without further ado, I don't have any fancy music that I can play right now for that. Sorry. All right. Hey, as I always do the last several weeks, because, hey, I'm the one behind the microphone and pushing buttons, so I don't mind promoting it. Even though it's not brand new, it's my chapter, and, I would be doing us a disservice. If you haven't seen one of these guys, go out and grab one at bvnorthernindiana.org. No, this is not a brand new merch item, but it goes towards all of our chapter charity efforts that we do. The Northern Indiana Villains crossed scythes pin. This beauty is 1.75 inches in diameter, or across, or anyway, however you measure somewhat square items. Uh, it's actually bigger than you'd think, but it fits perfectly on a collar or any place that you want to put it on a hat or anything else. $12. It is a polished metal. It is not plastic. It is polished metal, silver, beautiful, cross sides. $12. bvnorthernindiana.org. So there's that. Also, I know this was at one time a pre-order, but now they just have, I checked on their website just to verify, they do have this on their website available for sale right now. It is the Bearded Villains East of England X Factor. Very cool. We don't see too many, like I said, over here across the pond in the U.S., we don't see too many stuff from England coming over here too often, but I like to promote it when I can. And as you know, I've done some stuff from a few of the chapters in England and over in Europe over the last several weeks. So I wanted to continue that trend with the East of England Bearded Villains X Factor. $7.50. It's not technically $7.50 because I think they're pounds, but it's $7.50. So you do the conversion, but it's still not that expensive to get a cool patch that you don't get to see very often. So that's East of England. Go hit them up over on their IG page, which will link to their Big Cartel page for sure. Also up, I did want to say this for this is the last week I'll have this up on here, the BV Czech Republic, only because we don't get too much from the Czech Republic. Their second anniversary patch, I believe, is still out there for sale. Hit them up on IG if you're interested. Again, you don't see too much stuff over here from the Czech Republic, so get one of their patches, their second anniversary patches. Go out to their IG page. Hit them up for further information. Also, in the last week or so, this bad boy from Van City came out. If you don't know, and I've mentioned it before to other people in conversation about Van City, they're like, Van City, where's that? That's Vancouver, if you didn't know, up in Canada, eh? Van City Villains have their Crossed Axes 2024 patch. Their Crossed Axes 2024 patch, available for $15. It is on their Big Cartel page, which, if I'm not mistaken, is vancityvillains.bigcartel.com. Or just hit them up on IG, which is a direct link to their Big Cartel page. But the Van City Villains Crossed Axes 2024 patch for $15 is out there for you. And then finally, I wanted to give another shout out because it's coming up. And they're encouraging everybody to try and buy tickets early if you want to save yourself some hassle at the event. Up in Canada, Niagara Falls, Ontario. It's Beards for Bucko 2024 coming on, and it's June 21st to the 23rd. Come on, I'm going up there. If you've never met me, listen to me talking like I'm some kind of celebrity. If you've never met me, I'll be up there anyway. I'll be up there for Beards for Bucko, and we'll have some other people. You can meet Ed, recently instated board member. Ed's going to hate me for that, but Ed will be up there too from Northern Indiana Villains. And yeah, we'll be up there. And we have a few people coming from our chapter. I know there's people from all over going up to Beards for Bucko, but go out there right now. Let me see if I can find it. It's at lakeshorevillains.com. Lakeshorevillains.com, and get some pre-purchase tickets that you can pre-purchase for your entrance fee at $20, your beard competition fee for $10. You can get all of the stuff pre-purchased out of the way, so you can just walk in the door and go party it up at Beards for Bucko, June 21st to the 23rd. So hit up the boys at lakeshorevillains.com and prepay for all of that stuff. And that is the merch that I have right now on this May 30th of 2024. So, all right. I see some comments popping through. That England patch. Yeah. Lurch, it's always East of England patch. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, let's see. Rob makes a good point. That Van City patch that had the axes in the patch, or in the picture with it, yeah, the axes do not come with the patch, much to the chagrin of some people. That would be a pretty big deal for $15, though, wouldn't it? That would be a steal. Absolute steal, yeah. All right, well, let's get this out of the way real quick before we get into our interview. Whether you are navigating the rugged terrain of the great outdoors or conquering the concrete jungle of the urban landscape, Bigfoot Beard Company has you covered. Bigfoot products are made from natural ingredients designed to help maintain a healthy, rich beard without leaving it greasy or heavy feeling. From classic cologne-inspired fragrances to fruity notes and earthy tones, there's sure to be a scent for every person and every occasion. With worldwide shipping available, why not take the opportunity to walk on the wild side? Head over to bigfootbeardco.com today. That's www.bigfootbeardco.com today and grab yourself some Bigfoot Beard products. And that's that. All right. I'll get that thing recorded one day. I do apologize. All right. So, what some people have been here waiting for, other people don't care, and they're just going to enjoy it because they just chill and watch the show, and that's great too. But we're going to kick right into our interview that I had earlier today. I recorded with Jason talking about this little thing called Knoxvillains coming up next weekend. So please sit back, get your popcorn ready, and enjoy my interview with Jason talking Knoxvillains. Hey, coming up next weekend. And by next weekend, well, I'm talking about June 7th through the 9th. The Smoky Mountain Villains are going to be hosting a little event called Knoxvillains. Knoxvillains is here, back again, 2024, telling us a little bit about what we can expect and maybe a little bit about what the Smoky Mountain Villains have been up to and what everybody can expect coming up for Knoxvillains weekend. Is Jason here to tell us about this stuff today? Jason, how you doing today?
Good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for taking some time with me.
Of course.
I'm excited because I had to take a year off of Knoxvillains last year, of course, to go out. And I'm sure you ran into that problem because once they announced that West Coast meet was in Vegas, a lot of people said, I'm going to go do that.
You can't not. Dude, I wanted to go to Vegas.
Yeah, it made it really hard for you guys. We're like, well, we got to host this thing. And it's on the same
Hey,
weekend.
we still had a really good turnout last year. So
You did.
I'm not mad.
And I was worried about it because I thought, oh man, they're going to lose people to Vegas, but you still had a great turnout. And it was really successful last year. So, but yeah, I was one of the people that jumped the shark and jumped over to Vegas for the weekend. But hey, I'm back. I'm coming. I didn't even know until like a week ago that I was going to be able to make Knoxvillains this year, but I'm coming. So,
oh heck yeah,
I'm excited. We'll get into Knoxvillains and what to expect this year. But tell us a little bit about what have you guys been up to? What's Smoky Mountain been up to lately?
I mean, we've just been planning this event. We've got some new officers in place. We had our elections back in January after our anniversary event, and we're doing what we can to just keep the train rolling forward.
Have you noticed it difficult to because you guys do something a little different than there's not too many chapters that actually host two larger events over the course of a year. What's that been like? Maybe you can speak to a little bit of that experience because it's hard for some chapters to get their guys motivated to host just one event a year. But you had your anniversary thing back in January, I think, right? And then now this.
Yep.
What's that got to be like for you guys?
It's fun. Honestly, I wouldn't change it. I would not change it. Post meet depression is a real thing, and it usually kicks in a couple of days after the event. But then we give it about a month or so after the anniversary event, and then we jump right into planning for Knoxvillains. So there's not a lot of downtime there, and then we try to find volunteer opportunities where we can in the different areas that we cover. Um, so, for example, after our January event, a couple of our guys met up at the Isaiah House in Washington County, Tennessee, which is the one that we raised money for last year. anniversary event, and they went out there and did some landscaping work for them. So, just, stuff like that. We try to keep busy. We volunteer where we can and just try to do what we can.
Yeah. I love the fact that you guys just don't just give money and then see you guys later. You guys have actually kept that relationship up. I know you do a lot of work with Isaiah,
Oh yeah.
with that place. And so,
And
I love to see the continued. Yeah.
especially after this year, we actually went to the Isaiah house here in Sevier County to do the check presentation. And we actually got to walk through and take a tour of the house and hear some of the stories that the people that I don't want to say work the house, but the people that are there for these kids on these really just bad days, man.
Yeah.
The people that are there with these kids and what they do for them and the stuff that they can provide them that these kids have never had before, like a new pair of shoes in the box. Like, we don't think about stuff like that because, if we need a new pair of shoes, we just go out and buy it. These kids can't do that. So that was a very, very, very humbling, very eye opening experience. Being able to walk through the house and see what our donation was helping with, and I definitely will continue to push for us partnering with Isaiah House.
Yeah. That's when you really feel it. I mean, you can donate money, you can do the work, and you can end up donating money to something, but to actually see the tangible results of what some organization has been able to do with that money, and especially if you're in a situation like that where you can actually see the lives touched by what's happened, yeah, that means so much more, and I think it makes it easier too from an organizational side of things, at least, because it means more to the guys in the chapter. It means those guys that are able to see it. And then, you see it once and then you're just like, we got to go do this again. We got to go. And it's a never ending cycle that hits, but it starts with that experience, that firsthand knowledge of seeing what it's doing, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, let's talk then for a second here about, well, not for a second. Let's just talk. Let's talk about what people can expect from Knoxvillains weekend this year. I know it's a little different than it has been, or at least because I wasn't there last year. So I know that locations and things like that have changed. So let's kind of start with, I guess, Friday and just move on to there. And if you can explain what was behind some of the choices to make some changes, because Knox location or a change of whatever, what makes you guys want to do that, or if it's just a change of pace or what up. So let's just start with Friday.
So, yeah. So starting on Friday, we're going to have the meet and greet. It's going to be at Zool Beer Company in Knoxville. Our charity officer had a chance to go check it out, and he was very impressed with it. I've seen the pictures and everything. I think it's going to be a great space, a great venue. So we're going to kick the meet and greet off at 6 p.m. on Friday, June 7th. And we're going to start the weekend off with a bang. I mean, we're going to go full regalia from the start.
Well, how do you mean? I mean, when you say that, you're setting me up for.
Hey man, look,
I'm waiting for the pipes and bugle drum, all that stuff. What do we do? What are we talking about?
Man, I wish. We're going to start it off with a good time. I mean, you start off with a good time. You see guys that you don't get to see all the time. I had the chance to see you at the Chattanooga, the 2 year.
Yeah.
That was the first time I've seen you in like a year and a half.
I know.
So like that, honestly, that was one of my favorite things about that event was getting to see people that I don't get to see all the time.
Right. Yeah. It
so
makes a big difference.
It's just it's going to be a good night. just kind of not worrying about stuff, just hanging out with your brothers.
All
I mean,
right.
that's what the meet and greets are all about for me.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. That's I've found that there are a lot of times because you feel like there's if you go to for a full weekend event like this, sometimes the meet and greet is the most relaxed and the most fun because you don't feel like there's an agenda you have to live up to. You don't feel like you're just there to chill. And sometimes at the events it feels like, okay, now I got to go here, now I got to go where, I got to go do this thing, and I got to
Yep.
sometimes there's expectations that you got to put on yourself, and it's unnecessary, really, because you should just go into an event weekend just deciding to chill. But it is what it is, and so a lot of times when we have events that have like a beard competition with it, everybody says, "Oh, the beard competition doesn't mean anything to me," but we know that there's a handful of people that it really does. It matters. They would love to place well in it, and so I think puts a little bit of that expectation on it then too. And then if there's stuff that's in a raffle or something that they're really trying to get to, and then there gets that competitive nature, and that's all great too. But it just sets up the day a little differently than just the relaxation that is the meet and greet night. So
Definitely.
that's going to be fun. That's a good way. That's always a good way to start the weekend. So
Oh yeah.
provided that everybody wakes up and doesn't have too bad of a hangover on Saturday. Where does everything finish? Where does everything continue on Saturday, and what's the plan for the day?
So Saturday night, we are going to be we're going to be kicking things off at 12 o'clock. The venue is called Events on Broadway, also in Knoxville. Um, I had a chance to kind of take a picture tour because the day that we met up with our liaison, for lack of better terms, from the Autism Society, I actually had a field trip with my son that day, so I wasn't able to go look through the venue. Um, but the space is massive. We are going to be able to fit so much more into this event.
Should have been. Look at all this floor space. So much aerobics in here. So many activities.
Than we have been in the years past. Just because, minus Knoxvillains 2020, where we had the really big ballroom at the Crown Plaza, we've kind of gotten the short end of the stick with the smaller event areas at the Crown Plaza the last couple of years. Um, we're gonna have a lot of vendors. Um, Brad from North Mississippi is bringing Reconnect for Autism to Knoxvillains.
Wow.
They're going to be one of our vendors. They're also going to have an inflatable photo booth. Yeah, I am so jacked about Knoxvillains this year. There's a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff happening. I mean, and I'll get into some of the sponsors and some of the other vendors and everything like that too. But if you can make it, we'd love to have you. Like this is gonna be one that people are talking about.
Yeah. Well, and that's the I think that's kind of the crux of it, because you have to make a determination as time goes on with the same when you're used to doing an annual event like this. At what point do we decide it's time for a change? We need to tweak this, we need to tweak that, because it's easy to get in a rut. It's easy to do, okay, because it becomes easy. It becomes common for you to, and it's easier to keep track of things, and you get set in your ways. So um
Absolutely.
was the size that kind of you've been reduced to at the Crown Plaza, was that kind of one of the driving forces to say, you know what, let's try and do something a little different this year and change locations?
Kind of. I mean, a very the so the decision basically boiled down to was we've held Knoxvillains at the Crown Plaza since 2020, right? Um, and last year, one of the issues that we ran into was they were getting kind of greedy with the room rates.
Ah,
Um, and we just didn't feel that. I mean, that was the first year that we weren't even able to fill the room block that
Wow.
we had, because a lot of people, and understandably so, were finding cheaper hotel rooms elsewhere and just showing up for the event, which is fine. I mean, I don't even worry about a hotel at Knoxvillains because I live like half an hour away.
Right.
But for a lot of the other people that are traveling, that are already using, you know, taking their time and spending their money on gas and the wear and tear on their vehicles to get here, that's the last thing they need is to be, yeah, the Crown Plaza is a really nice hotel, but I mean, really overpriced for what they were wanting to charge us last year. So we kind of made the decision, as a chapter after last year, that we would find a different venue. And we had a few options. We looked at going to some venues that we've held Knoxvillains at before. Um, and Candace, who we work with the Autism Society, and our charity officer, Tim, they came up with a short list, and we weighed our options on each space, and I really think we found the winner.
Yeah. Sounds like it from the way you're describing this place. So I know you mentioned, and maybe just been a bit, a slip of the tongue as far as explanation, but you said things start out Saturday night, but then you said at 12. So is the event actually starting at noon on Saturday?
Yes,
Okay.
sorry, Saturday afternoon. Yes.
Okay.
So myself and a few of our other officers, that are able to make it, will be there at around 10 a.m. Setting up, getting everything ready for everybody. Um, the doors will open at around noon. That's when we'll start registration for the beard comp. Um, and this place is big enough where we will be able to do an indoor flag shoot,
Oh, wow.
which is friggin'
Yeah.
awesome because it's the second week of June and it's gonna be hot outside. So, uh, I
Hey,
mean, I don't have to say it, but I will. Us big boys are not doing okay right now.
no, and there's been a couple of years that Knoxville's flag shoot there on those concrete steps. Even though I will say it's one of probably the best photographic places for a flag shoot, just because of the design of a huge staircase that you can get a large wide shot from a distance at, and
Oh
because
yeah.
it's a great place to, I mean, everything that was around the area that you could go find to do, to eat, to see everything. That part of it was a really cool feature of that location. But flag shoot time was always a sweaty mess. And so I'm sure you'll have people welcome the idea of an indoor flag shoot for sure.
Oh, I welcome it. I don't care if they welcome it or not. I'm good with it.
Hey, if they want to go get their flag shoot at that staircase, they can always go back over there and do it on that later that day if they want to.
Please, by all means.
Find time to go do it if you really want to go for memory's sake and go to that place. But
Right.
just out of curiosity, how far away, for the people that don't know Knoxville, how far away from the Crown Plaza and that area that people are used to is the other place that this is going to be at?
Not very far at all.
Okay.
Not very far at all.
Use your GPS, folks. It's not hard.
The address is on the flyer. I know reading is hard for us BB guys sometimes, but it's there. I promise.
Reading's hard sometimes. It's a hard thing. Okay. All right. So what all is the plan for the actual main event? It's doors open like at noon, you said, and then what's the time plan as far as, do you have a set time when different things start and stop, and when, what all is going to be there at the event to do or see or touch or taste or
So
whatever it is?
I have to give a shout out to our charity officer. Tim has he hit it out of the park with our anniversary event. From the venue, I mean, just every aspect of it, he nailed it. I really think he outdid himself with this one, and I am here for it. Um, so we're gonna have live music. I think we've got two or three different local artists that are gonna come in and play sets. Um, in between the sets, we're gonna do different categories of the beard competition. We're gonna do some auction items. We're gonna try. We're gonna kind of break it up a little bit, because it can get kind of boring when you start the beard comp and you try to, you got 7, 8, or 9 categories and you try to get through them all at once. It's kind of monotonous and it's a little boring. So we're gonna break it up a little bit. We'll have a band play for about 45 minutes. Um, we'll do 3 of the categories. We'll do a couple of auction items, and then we'll jump into another band playing for about another 45 minutes, and then we'll just repeat that cycle until we get through everything.
I like that. I like that idea for sure. Yeah, it's funny because the more, I mean, we're still technically, I think, hopefully, in the infancy of everything that is BV. I mean, most, the oldest chapters were still 10 years, old, and most of the chapters are somewhere between 4 and 8, 4 and 6, and so you're talking only about a handful. Those chapters that have done yearly, the annual events now. You're talking only a handful of chapters that really have done anything more than 5, 6 times really anymore. And so you know that, okay, you do things a certain way, and you hear from people over the years now that people have done it 5, 6 times now, and they go to all these other events for other chapters as well. You start to hear from people that they're, my least favorite part of an event is the beard comp part. And, that's not the case the first time you go to one of those. But if you've been in BV for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and you've been to 4 or 5 of these a year, and you're just kind of like on the fence about whether you even want to go to the beard comp part of it at all, you have to look for a way to shake things up a little bit, or just do things a little differently. So I'm on board with it, man. I really am, because I'm the same way. You go to so many different, because we're not smart people oftentimes, and we copy each other like crazy, right? So
Facts.
we do what's easy, and what's easy is, hey, let's do a beard comp, because a lot of times it's a thing to do, and it doesn't take up much effort as far as brain power. Or a lot of times the only consideration is where you're going to make your cutoffs at your different levels. Is it going to be 4 to 6, or is it 4 to 8? Is it 0 to 4 or 0 to 6?
Yep.
A lot of times that's the biggest question that you have.
Yep.
Are you going to have a stylized that kind of thing? So,
So I mean, we actually decided to try to break that up a little bit at our anniversary event. We actually had a Stein hoisting competition.
okay.
We had a men and a women's category, and we all stood on stage with the Steins. And
I think now that you say that, I think I did see a photo or two of that.
Oh yeah, they started timing, and we went until there was only one left in each category, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. But did you do a beard comp then too as well?
We did.
Wow. So 2 beard comps in a year. That's even harder. Wow. All right. Well,
It's tricky.
It is. But you guys are doing something different, so I like it. All right. So we're going to break this thing up a bit. And I've noticed, what's funny is I've noticed, and I talk all the time about the way that we do things here in the States a little differently than some of the European chapters do. And that's one of the things I like about the way that they've started to do their events over there, is that the beard comp is like one part of one of the major things that they do, but it's just one little piece. It's not the main thing. And a lot of times they only have like 3 categories. It's like 0 to 6, 6 to 9, and 9 and over. They go very simplistic with it, just because they're not trying to make it a big deal. It's just it's not even, a lot of times it's not even a centerpiece. It's like, hey, if you want to do the beard comp, it's going to be over here in the next 10 minutes. And they'll do like one thing, and then an hour later they'll do the other category, and then an hour later, So I like it. I'm all for it. Anything to do it, to break up the monotony of the way that we're used to doing things is, you're going to find some support from me, and I'm sure a lot of other people. So
Oh yeah. I
thumbs
mean,
up.
and honestly, I still want people to get excited about the beard comp.
Okay. Won't be me,
The
but
trophies.
trophies. Okay, let's talk trophies. You got cool trophies again?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. These are probably yeah. Just trust me. If you've never really cared about placing in a beard comp before, um, I would recommend caring about it if you're coming to Knoxvillains. I got a chance to see the trophies, the finished product today, and I'm excited. Like I wasn't gonna compete just because I felt my co-captain and I felt that this is our first event where it's me and him kind of steering the ship. So we both agreed that we're probably not going to compete, so we can stand back and make sure everything's running smooth and all that. But after seeing those trophies, yeah, I might go ahead and compete because those trophies are.
All right. Okay. So yeah, you're piquing my interest here a little bit now. So while we're talking about the beard comp, do you know offhand what your categories are going to be? So people they got a week to make sure they trim up if they need to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So our categories, we're going to do under 3. We're going to do 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 plus. Then we're going to have kids creative, styled mustache, whiskerina, and something we haven't done in a while that I'm excited about. We're bringing back the whaler category.
All right. All right. Wow, that's an awful lot of. I know we can't do that many categories when we host our event in October because we found. I mean, if you can, that's awesome that you're able to. But we tried it and we ended up with extra trophies for categories that people didn't even compete in. So,
Oh wow!
I'm excited for you to be able to do that. So,
Well,
that's
and
gonna be awesome.
one thing that we tried to do too to get a little more involvement, especially with the kids creative category, because we noticed that the contestants in that category were getting fewer and fewer. So what we did was we went out and we basically invested in a craft station for the event.
Okay.
So, let's say, somebody brings their kid with them, their kid sees that, they can make their own beard and go on stage and maybe win a trophy. We actually had a few kids, hell, we even had some of our chapter members that used the craft station at the anniversary event, made a beard, and then entered the freestyle category.
I love that.
So, I mean, hey, if it works, it works.
That's such a cool idea. That's a very, very cool idea for those that have the ability to do something like that. Yeah, that's very, very cool. All right. So I'm assuming then you mentioned briefly about raffle stuff, and I assume there'll be the regular raffle and maybe some auction stuff as well for people to take part in if they want to.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We'll have the raffles. We're going to have we've got some really cool auction items lined up. One in particular that I'm pretty excited about.
You want to give a hint?
But yeah. No.
You don't have to. You don't have to. Let people wait and see it when they get there. Either that or you just don't want you want to be able to get it yourself, so you don't want people to prepare to bring money. That's what it is.
So normally, yes. I actually already have it in one way, shape, or form. But I will give a shout out if I can to Dapper Dan. He's actually the one that messaged me and um, kind of put it together, and then told me that he was wanting to donate it. So big shout out to him, and happy birthday, fucker.
Happy birthday, Dan. Dapper Dan. And maybe that might give us a little bit of a clue as to what it could be if you know him at all, maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
It's one of his kids.
All right. Very interesting. Very interesting. All right. So if this thing starts at noon, how long are you planning on keeping this thing going? Here's what we're going to do. Yeah, your feed froze too. Mine did too. Not just your feed. Not just your feed. That was my feed as well. So what we're going to do, because there's some good stuff coming up. There's some good stuff coming up in this interview. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to manually make this thing work. So let's try something here. And hey, we love it when technology takes an absolute dump on us, right? So I'm going to try something here. And I'm going to see if I can make this work. Now, what's going to happen, I'm just going to give everyone a heads up. What's going to happen is it's going to start the video, the interview back over, but I'm using a different file for it. So I'm hoping that I can fast forward to include the last few minutes of said video. So I'm going to try something here and see what can happen. But it when they get there.
To me with a list and what.
I never attend that because I end up having to get out of town. But
so we're actually going to have the after party. Big shout out to him, and happy birthday, fucker.
Happy birthday, Dan. Dapper Dan. And maybe that might give us a little bit of a clue as to what it could be if you know him at all, maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
It's one of his kids.
All right. Very interesting. Very interesting. All right. So if this thing starts at noon, how long are you planning on keeping this thing going?
So we're going to go until about 6.
Okay.
But we're also, and going back to changing things up a little bit. My charity officer and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago now, because we kind of were on a little bit of a time crunch as far as the ending of the event goes. Because if we go, the place is open till midnight, but if we went from 10 a.m. to 12, that's obviously it's more money that it costs, right? So one thing that I took away from ECM last year, that the Queen City chapter did, that I actually really wanted to incorporate somehow. They had a venue, they had a place lined up for an after party that was like literally you could have walked to it from the event space.
Okay.
And I thought that was really cool. I thought that was an amazing idea, and it was something that I wanted to try to incorporate. So I went to my charity officer and I was like, hey man, look, what do we have that's close by the event, and how late are they open?
Mm-hmm.
So he came back to me with a list and what time. So we're actually going to have the after party at Schultzbrow Brewing in Knoxville. For those of you that may remember, it's where we did Knoxvillains 2019, where we were double booked with the wedding party.
Okay.
They are open till 1 a.m. It's a great atmosphere. They make all their own beer. They've got amazing food. They've got an outdoor area, fire pits. This place is awesome. This place was originally one of my first choices to do this event at.
Okay.
But yeah, we're gonna do the after party there. Like I said, they're open till 1 a.m. So for those of you that aren't ready to call it a day at 6 p.m., we got somewhere for you to go.
That's incredible. That's such a great idea too. And sounds like that place, for those that have never been there before, is going to fit perfectly into the day after everything else, and then being able to just chill. So you're kind of bookending the event weekend with a version of a meet and greet, a nice relaxing chill version of, the Friday, and then and then Saturday night to end things after the event. Same thing, just chill, relax, no agenda, no
Absolutely.
nothing. Yeah,
No
that's
pressure, no nothing.
great idea. Great idea. Okay. Is that all you got planned, or is there any other weird surprises or anything else that we need to talk about? I know we'll get into the charity that you're aiming for the weekend again here in just a few minutes, but some people throw things together on a Sunday, but I never attend that because I end up having to get out of town. But
Yeah. So we do, like I said, we do have a lot of vendors. Like I said, Brad from North Mississippi is bringing Reconnect for Autism. They're going to have a vendor spot. Um, we've got a couple of different beard care companies. Um, we actually have a BV owned beard care company. Irish Bear Beard Company is going to be there. They're one of our sponsors as well as a vendor. But yeah, we've got Hinderless 22.
mm-hmm.
I know people have got to be familiar with them by now.
Yep.
Hinderless 22 will be there as well. Really excited to have those guys out there again. And we also, so we had a local celebrity, if you will, kind of reach out to us. He was a professional wrestler. He's got a lot of acting credits to his name. If we have any Walking Dead fans watching, he is best known for the role of Tattooed Savior on season 6 through 11 of The Walking Dead.
Okay.
So he's going to be there, and he's actually the U.S. national director for an organization called Fighting for Autism.
Okay.
So we're really excited to have him out there with us too. I think he's gonna be one of our vendors as well. I think he's got some stuff that he's gonna be pushing and meeting with people and taking pictures and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean we've got a lot of great stuff lined up. I am probably more excited for Knoxvillains this year than I've been in years past.
That is so cool. That is so cool. It's great when you can find a rejuvenated, a spirit behind an event more than you've had, okay. It's easy to get up for stuff when you're hosting it anyway, but to hear the excitement in your voice, knowing what's going to be happening, I'm really excited and super happy that I'm going to be able to make it this year. So,
yeah, for sure.
Can you just remind everybody, who are we raising money for again this weekend?
So once again, this is the 7th edition of Knoxvillains. We are partnering with the East Tennessee Autism Society. Great organization, great group of people that just doing really good work. I mean, and it's work that we believe in. So hence us working with them for the 7th year in a row. And work that's close to a lot of our personal lives.
Yeah.
You
For
know,
sure.
I mean, you and I have talked before. My son is autistic. So, I mean, this is Knoxville, and this event is one of the reasons that I joined BB,
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to be a part of it. And
Yeah.
it's hands down my favorite event.
Yeah, that's great. That's just great. I'm excited for it, man. Anytime you can come back to one of the events that you love, and to see all the guys, it's what you get up for. It's what you get up for. And then to know that, hey, we're changing things up a little bit differently this year, so we don't know what to expect coming in the door. I'm loving that. And like I said, you've shaken things up just enough that I think it's really going to keep people on their toes. All those people that just, I've been to Knoxvillains. No, you haven't. No, you haven't.
Mhm.
Don't say that. Come to Knoxvillains this year because it's going to be different than it has been. You
Not this
knew old
version.
Knoxvillains. That's what you knew. You knew old Knoxvillains. You didn't know new Knoxvillains. That's what we say, right?
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And one thing that I'm very hopeful for, and I'll be over the moon if this happens. So y'all may remember a few months back, we partnered with the Richmond chapter. Mad respect to those guys for getting in on this with us and helping us get that pushed out. But we did a patch that was called the Villains for Tanner patch. I met a little boy in December of last year, and his story and everything that he was going through on a daily basis at such a young age, it hit me. I mean, it hit me hard. So that's when we had the idea for the patch, and Richmond jumped in on it with us. Long story short, I have spoken with Tanner's parents. I told them about Knoxvillains, and there is a very good chance that they are going to be joining us with Tanner himself. So
how cool!
I'm really excited at the idea of them being there. I've sent her all the information on the event, and I really really hope that they can make it.
Yeah, and that in a moment like that, to be able to share that with everybody and let them know, it's another opportunity to say, hey guys, remember that thing we did? Let me introduce you to somebody, and
absolutely.
That kind of a thing really, like you said, it hits home for you, but that would be a really cool moment if that can happen at this event. So very, very fun, man. That'd be great. That'd be great. Well,
oh yeah.
I don't know what else to say, Jace. This is going to be an awesome weekend. I'm looking forward to it. The brotherhood time, but also the fact that I know it's going to be different. We get set in our ways and we get comfortable in things, and the idea that this is not going to be old Knoxvillains, it's going to be a fun new turn on things. I'm excited about it. So, if is there anything else you want to throw out to the listeners before they come?
Actually, yeah, Tim. I'm at work and this fucker just snuck in.
All right.
Yes. So for those of you that don't know, this is Tim. This is our charity officer. He's probably going to hate me for this, but he has been the driving force behind most of the planning for this event. And like I said earlier, for those of you that came to our anniversary event, you know what an awesome time we had. This man right here outdid himself with Knoxvillains. He ain't gonna take the credit, but I'm gonna fucking give it to him. He outdid himself with Knoxvillains. Trust me.
Awesome.
You want to be there. We've got 2 new patches that are releasing at the event with our new logo. We have our new chapter flag, so if you want to grab a picture with it, you'll be able to. Like I said, the trophies. Holy crap, the friggin' trophies. Trust me, compete in the beard comp. At least try to win one of these beauties. We've got the new shirts. We'll have our autism shirt that'll be at the event. We ordered some extras, so if you missed out on the pre-order, we got you. But yeah, anything you can think?
I'm just ready to have some good times with you guys, man. So come on out.
We're just here so we don't get fined.
Exactly.
I think you're at the point where you're the ones that would be doing the finding. So I'm not worried about that part of it, man.
Is
I'm
that how
excited.
that works? I thought I got a paycheck for this crap.
Oh yeah, that's right. Some people do, I guess, right? Well, I'm excited for it, man. I can't wait. Thanks so much for taking some time with me. And
Of course.
man, it's gonna be an awesome time. 1 week away. I can't believe it's here already, but I'm excited for it, man.
Oh yeah, that final countdown is on, man. I can hear the keytar already.
I'm sweating it right now.
All right. Well, have a great day, rest of your day. Have a great weekend this weekend. Your final prepping for everything that you're going to be given for us next weekend. I'm excited. Jason,
Absolutely, brother.
I'll talk to you guys later next week, and let's go have some fun.
Yes, sir. I'm excited to see you again, brother.
All right. You too. Take care.
Yeah, bud.
All right. Bye. All right. So, hey, we salvaged it. We made it work. We salvaged the recording, the interview. That's awesome. That was good. So that's the first time I've ever had to do that. Normally, if I record an interview early, I can just play the interview in its entirety. I can even make little edits into the video like I did this time. So much room for activities. And I can make it play, and it plays straight through. And for some reason today, it decided to freeze mid-interview, 3/4 of the way through the interview. But I always keep a backup copy of the interview as a separate file. So I was able to pull that in real quick. And so good times, good times. Jason, man, I'm excited. I'm excited for the weekend. And anytime we get a chance to, hang out with brothers, that's, man, it builds you up. It gives you lifeblood. It gives you all sorts of energy. It's just an incredible time. And then to add to it, the fact that we know we're going to a familiar event that's going to be changing, and it's a little different than it has been in the past. Yeah, it's going to be good times. I'm looking forward to it. So thank you, Jason, for taking some time out. Looking forward to Knoxvillains 2024. I like a road trip. I like chilling in the car. I think it's fun. I'm one of those that doesn't mind the 6-8 hour car ride. Am I weird that way? Do other people like that? I don't mind just getting in the car and throwing the music on and just you're in your own little world. I'm totally fine like the solo road trip. If it's like 8-10 hours, not a problem in the world. I did for DSV down in Mississippi a few years ago. I did that. That was like 13-14 hours by myself. Just chilling in the car, playing music. For some reason, it's just relaxing to me. I can't explain it. I don't know why, but it's just, as long as the weather holds. If the weather sucks, then forget about it. And I've had a few of those. I've had a few of those rainy drives where it's just like miserable. But this time of year, if you can get in the car, and I don't care if it's 8 hours, if it's 6 hours, if it's 5, if it's 10, you can just get in the car and like kind of crank down the window a little bit, get a little airflow, get some nice, beautiful weather to drive through, throw the music on. I don't know. I'm one of those loves it. I just do it. I just get in the car and go. And it's so relaxing. I don't care what kind of music I'm playing. It's not like I'm playing Air Supply, at least not the whole time. Hey, I'm a child of the 70s and 80s, so I throw in my yacht rock radio from time to time. Love that channel too. But call me strange. But Knoxvillains 2024, it's here next week. Looking forward to it. So just to give you all a heads up, a little bit of heads up on what my plan is for attack. We've got several different things coming up in the next several weeks. And I'm sorry. I've got to share this comment. Lurch just killing me here. 9 hours in a van last year to Ezra was interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, the crew that you weren't with, it wasn't a solo trip. So I think you have to take that with a grain of salt, right? I'm talking about solo, like by yourself. That was not the case for you. And so, yeah, Buffcat, love a road trip. I do too. Yes, Gary, I agree completely. Rain sucks driving. I don't mind a little bit of rain if it's raining a little bit, but it better not be raining for that whole road trip, for sure. I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be raining for that whole road trip, for sure. Yeah. Hey, miss the road trips, the phone calls with Popeye. You know what? I miss Popeye. Just period. I just miss Popeye, and I hate that he's moved on in his life to other things, but yeah, I miss seeing that dude too and talking to him. All right, guys. Well, so yeah, I'm excited for the weekend. And I don't know about anybody else, but yeah, I love a good road trip. So as I was saying before, I decided to throw in some comments there, just to give everybody a heads up of the plan of attack for the next several episodes. We've got next weekend also is a little event. And I'll bring a comment up because I know that Mr. Rababa, I haven't said Rababa. I just saw this comment. I'm sorry. I just saw this. There's some really good comments that came up during the freezing of the interview when the interview just stopped working. You're broken, BP. I'm sorry. That's just awesome. Thanks, Ed. Appreciate that. Oh no, Frozen. Yeah, I can always count on you guys. Then Rob, this is the one that sent me over. Someone give BP 50 cents for the Wi-Fi. Oh, killing you. It's not the Wi-Fi. For some reason, it was the file. I think this was Houston. We have a problem. Oh, you guys are great. I love it. All right. So what I was going to say, if I can find it back again here, is that Rob made a comment indicating that there was a certain event coming up. And if I can find it, I'll throw it up here on the screen. But, yeah, he was talking about events being too expensive and whatnot. But, hey, so next week is Villain Fest. London is hosting Villain Fest this weekend. And so Rob, just to give him a shout out, if you follow Robaba on the road, Rob Hayes, if you follow him, he'll be live streaming. He does this every event that he goes to. He does a live stream. Go to his YouTube account, TOOBY account, YouTube account. Just hit up Rob. If you don't know already. He has a YouTube account that specifically he does stuff from. So he'll be filming, live streaming, and then there'll be other stuff going on. But I will be doing a follow-up interview after the fact with the boys from London talking about Villain Fest. Then we have in the coming weeks, we have the West Coast meet. We have Beards for Bucko coming up, both on the same weekend. So we're going to be doing interviews with people from those places, talking about those events, plus a review interview with, well, I'm not sure yet who we're going to talk to. It could be one of a few different people from London talking about Villain Fest. So I'm looking forward to it. We're going to be busy. We got lots of stuff going on. So that's what we're going to do. So, guys, that's going to do it for a Thursday night edition. For tonight's edition, episode 216 of The Heart of a Villain. I think that's just going to have to wrap it up, right? I think so. It's a good bow on the night. Remember, guys, as I challenge you every week to be the villain that the world needs you to be, because the heart of a villain never stops beating. Guys, the most important thing that I say every single week is this. Remember that it's okay not to be okay. If you are hurting, please find a brother to talk to. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. But just recognizing that's not enough. We got to find somebody to talk to. Find a brother, find somebody to talk to. We need you here for the long haul. That's going to do it. That's going to wrap up episode 216. I'll see you back here next week for episode 217. Until then, guys, take care. Stay safe.
From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain. It's the heart of a villain. From the start to to the finish, go hard.